Harry, tonight we're going to be in Matthew chapter 20. It's the parable of the workers in the vineyard, and we're going to be reading from verse 1 to 12 and just breaking it down every couple verses. So it says this: For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire workers for his vineyard. He agreed to pay them a denarius for the day and sent them into his vineyard.
Yeah, so that is so the kingdom of heaven. So what he's doing is Jesus is inviting us into the vineyard to work for him for the day, for a denarius, which is standard pay. And that's how the parable starts.
All right. Verse 3, it says, About 9 in the morning, he went out and saw others standing in the marketplace doing nothing. He told them, You also go and work in my vineyard, and I will pay you whatever is right.
Yeah, so 9 o'clock, he's hiring more help. That's what Jesus does too, on in the day. These people are looking for work, eager for a job, pleased to do something. They're happy.
Verse 5, 6, and 7. So they went. He went out again about noon and about 3 in the afternoon and did the same thing. About 5 in the afternoon, he went out and found still others standing around. He asked them, Why have you been standing here all day doing nothing? Because no one wanted to hire us, they answered. He said to them, You also go and work in my vineyard.
Kept hiring people all day, and they were all grateful to have something.
And then he says in verse 8, When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, Call the workers and pay them their wages, beginning with the last ones hired and going on to the first.
It's pay time. This is what they've been waiting for. So now we'll see how that goes.
The workers who were hired about 5 in the afternoon came, and each received a denarius.
Full pay. Wow. They've only worked a little while and they get heaven full pay. How special is that? And that is truly special.
Verse 10. So when those came who were hired first, they expected to receive more, but each one of them also received a denarius.
All got the same pay. Now that's puzzling, but let's go on.
Verse 11 and 12. When they received it, they began to grumble against the landowner. These who were hired last worked only 1 hour, they said, and you have made them equal to us who have borne the burden of the work in the heat of the day.
They were grumbling. But was that the right thing to be doing? So who was better off? Let's look at the parable. The people that were hired at 7 in the morning. They worked hard all day, but they knew they were going to feed their family. They knew they were in a good place, and they were all day long they could work. The people that stood around for half the day, were they better off? No, they were fretting for that half the day. When they got work, they were happy, but they really wasted a lot of time, and everybody just put in the day one way or the other. So in the spiritual sense, who is better off? People that come to Christ at age 15 or 20 or whatever, or people that do it when they're 60. Well, you say, hey, you can have all this fun and all this kind of thing, and you don't have to, and you still get the same deal. It's not exactly so much fun as you might think. If a person comes to Christ, you're satisfied, you're settled, you live the good life, you don't make all the mistakes that happen. Can you imagine 50, 30 years of being not so good about what you've been doing? Your body's hurting, you've done a lot of things that you shouldn't have been doing, your family might be gone, your marriage is gone, all this kind of stuff, your health is gone. No, that's not a benefit. Walking with God, it's a slice of heaven right from the beginning. It is really, truly lovely. So a lot of people think that if I could just wait longer, but they're all wrong on that. The best years of your life by far are the ones where you're walking with God. You're part of the family. Jesus promises are beautiful and they're satisfying, and Satan's stuff is all a lie. There is no benefit to doing the other. And then remember, if you refuse Jesus, he might not come back to invite you the second time. And that is something we really have to think about. That happens a lot. A lot of people say later, and later never happens. Be also careful about that. It is such a privilege to be part of the family, to have a purpose, to have structure, to have all those things. Yeah, being hired early is the best time. Work hard all day, have something, and really, and heaven will be beautiful.
Amen. And think about this, Harry, right? The 20-year-old, he knows that he's loved by God. He knows that there is a God. He knows his meaning in life and his purpose. Well, someone who's 60, they're sitting there all those years, like, is there a God? They're listening to lies. They have no meaning. They have no purpose. They're wondering about this, wondering about that. Soon my age is going to run up. Do I just die? And all these questions pondering them. Whereas the person who came early on in the beginning of that day, they were just settled in the Lord and in a good place with God. And that's where we all want to be. So it's not about tomorrow. Thanks a lot for
No, it's just so wonderful. Yeah, it's wonderful to be settled and to have a purpose all your life. And it's just so much better. The parable is really interesting, but actually even the people that worked hard all day, they were better off.
Amen. Thanks a lot for this, Harry.